We haven't played it live yet, but I'm hoping that's going to change next time around.
That's up for debate. That's a big one because if obviously, like, we tried to make it, all killer, no filler, this album, really, because it's a debut. You've got limited attention spans of everyone, especially with today. Like, I think we made the mistake. Me and Alex were in a band previously, and I think we made the mistake before of the first track, Soothsayer, from Abhorrent Decimation's album, was just basically like orchestra for most of it. Like the first 2 minutes of it was just orchestra, and people are so fickle and quick to judge these days with Spotify being what it is. You just don't get past that. You just think bored, next thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of wanted to get it going a little bit quicker with this album. I mean, it still does have like a little bit of twinkle in the intro.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more to the point, really. This was one of the last tracks to be written, if I remember rightly. I think this came in right towards the end, and it changed multiple times in the build up to it being done. I mean, as we go through them, I'll give you an idea of whenabouts they were written. And this was one of the last ones to be completed, and this was the one that got put on the chopping board the most, which is why I think it's probably one of the best. Why it was one of the best ones to put first, because it's had the biggest going over.
I love that. You find that quite often. Well, I have speaking to bands, like the last track to be put together and recorded is the album opener, and I think that's and especially saying it was on the chopping block. So I know Jamie is mostly the lyrical writer for the band, but can you tell us anything about them?
About the lyrics in general,
yeah,
or lyrics for Delilah?
Just for Delilah at the time being, or what some of the topics that you touch on the album.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing about Obsidian. I mean, as far as my understanding is, Obsidian is like the darkest and heaviest matter.
True.
Yeah.
Which obviously just that word and that description is well defined. And I mean, I can't go into it's. The lyrics are very personal to Jamie.
Yeah, of course.
And he's given us the rundown of each track and what everything means to him. And a lot of this covers personal stuff in his life, which is why I almost didn't want to go into it too deep with him, just to dredge up all the stuff, because if it deals with some quite dark times that he's had previously.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about one of the chorus hooks for Obsidian is Obsidian Tide, Carry Me Away. It's waiting for that ultimate dark and lowest point in order to bring about a massive change in your life.
Yeah.
And if you track through all the lyrics, then you can see it's kind of like, and I mean, he's made it obviously applicable to just the wider scope of people going through a similar sort of time and anything like that. So you can pick up quite a lot of times on, someone almost like, what do they call it? Is it a protege? I'm really bad with English. Of the story.
Yeah, I know.
Hitting these rock bottom times and just yearning for change and yearning for everything to be different and for him to sort of go through the fire to get out the other side. So yeah, anytime that we go through it, I'll sort of put my hand up and be like, that's one of those bits that proves my point from earlier.
Perfect. So yeah, this is track 1, Delilah. Any questions for the boys? Just get them in the chat and we'll ask them at the end of the song. This is Delilah. Let me know what you think, everyone. Here we go. The stream's getting out of time. Deep dive time. 13 more followers, everyone. If you're in the stream, please hit follow. about Jamie Graham. One of the greatest on earth. Ryan, how we doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. That's like Rostrel. How we doing, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Can blast. Perfect emote to use. Fact. That guitar over the top. It creates such an amazing ambience. Anybody new to the stream? Hit follow. As you can see, we could hit 1,000 followers this stream, which would be incredible.
My name is Terence Hampshire.
Barry Ball, thank you so much for the follow, buddy. Appreciate it. How are we doing? Welcome. That was track one, Delilah. I mean, boys, that's a real show of intent to what people can expect for the rest of the album. I think absolutely incredible. It just shows, like, on the top of the game, all of you are at your chosen craft. Absolutely incredible.
Bad for a first song, is it?
Not bad at all. Mate. Not bad.
It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a lot of deliberation though with whether that was actually going to be the opening track or not, because there were like another 3 off the album that we could have actually started the album with. So we had to really think about it, because we could have easily started with like Lamb to the Slaughter or Lilith going to Obsidian, that's what we do live. But yeah, we just settled on Delilah because of the piano.
Yeah, it's a good way to like swell it in, I think.
Amazing. I've got a comment saying, ask Lenny if he still classes Ghost as his main influence. I should hope so. I love Ghost.
That is going to be one of one person, and that is a guy called Jag, who is a total douchebag. And well, no, actually, to be fair, it could be a couple of other people actually, but yeah, no, Ghost are definitely not one of my influences. Oh god,
I do like Ghost though. I'm a Ghost fan.
Ghost. We played Bloodstock how long ago, Al? Not with Viscera, like obviously not with Viscera, but
2017.
Yeah, and Ghost were headlining.
Yeah, they got a great show on though. Great show.
So much grief. I caught so much grief for not wanting to see him. I just stood there miserable while everyone was just like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever." Not. It's dreadful. Awful.
Yeah, I love them, but I can see why people have that opinion as well.
And then they all had the audacity. I wanted to watch Megadeth. They put me through Ghost. They made me all watch Ghost, and then like the next day, or maybe it was the day before, Megadeth to play it. No one. I just had to watch it by myself. How sad is that?
That is shocking. Oh, apparently it's Topher.
Oh no.
So up next is one of like 2 or 3 amazing features you've got on the album, and in my opinion, one of the best songs on the whole album. I think, was this the first single, Immersed in Ire? Or one of the singles, wasn't it?
It was second single.
Second, yeah.
Featuring Ben Mason.
Big Ben.
Big Ben, what can you tell about this absolute beast?
Obviously, Big Ben is not Big Ben. Ben's like 2 foot tall.
Yeah, he's a good boy. First time meeting him. For me, when we did that video, because we all met in the practice room and just played it with Loki was filming it, and then met Ben for the first time there. Well, I did, and he's top bloke and did great vocals on it.
Geezer. The only way to describe Ben Mason is geezer, and you can't pronounce it proper Cockney because he looks like it. I was just like, God, he looks like he's a bricklayer, and someone was just like, he's a bricklayer. I was just like, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, like you were saying with like meeting Ben for the first time at a video shoot. Funny story about Viscera is the first time we met as a band was at the first video shoot.
That is amazing.
Yeah. The first time we all met as a group was the Lamb to the Slaughter shoot, which I should probably talk about when we do Lamb to the Slaughter, but I'll give you the sort of like the scope on how we are as a band. Like we met for the first time as a group on the Lamb to the Slaughter shoot. We hadn't, we knew each other. Like I think I'd maybe bumped shoulders with Jamie years ago on the circuit. Obviously me, Alex and Archer were in a band together before, and I knew Adam. But yeah, the first time we actually got to speak face to face was, we were already in. We were past the point of no return. So it's just like, hope no one's a dick. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was my first time meeting Adam, wasn't it? At that video shoot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I've been in a band with him for like 6 months. We've written songs, but never actually met.
That is pretty amazing. That is insane. So, Immersed in Ire, what are we saying?
That is one of the first songs and riffs written. That is old. I made it sound really bad, like, that old thing. That was hacked out, me and Adam, down in his bedroom in Brighton. I think it was during the summer, because we wrote a couple of the tracks. We wrote, like, I can't remember when it was, 2019 was like quite a hot summer, I think. And Adam's room has no ventilation whatsoever, and we just sweated out over these songs. But yeah, we intentionally made it. There's a couple of bits in Immersed in Ire which we did on purpose. So the intro picking pattern, intentionally really difficult. Right. Don't know why we did that. It was a great idea at the time. We were just like, oh, people are going to love this. And then first show, I was just like, why did we do that? Because you're having to play it like, first time, live, new bands, big tour. And I was just thinking, oh dear, this is tough. And then what else did we take influence from? We put those whammy noises in because I think the reason that we put those whammy noises in that you will hear is we were listening to loads of Brand of Sacrifice. The like a month we wrote that song.
Nice.
Who have what's the track? Is it Eclipse with that great whammy bit in? We were just like, we've got to have one of those.
Yeah.
I was making it sound off like rip-off artists, but
no, just
like,
lots of influences. I know obviously Jamie had quite a lot to do with kind of finding those guys, didn't he? When they used to be on Unique Leader, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if anything, they owe us.
There you go, absolutely. Yeah. And so you met Ben for the first time at the video shoot. Yeah,
I didn't even know. I think I'd missed the message.
Is it Bound in Fear was his band?
Bound in Fear,
yeah.
So they are heavy. If anyone hasn't heard them in the chat, then you should go check out Bound in Fear. It's brutal.
Yeah, they are extremely heavy. What he can do is insane with them lows.
For someone that's about this big.
Yeah,
that wide.
Awesome. So musically and anything you can say about the lyrics, or again, is it more into it's more of Jamie's thing?
It's kind of more Jamie's thing. I mean, the main scope of what the lyrics mean, I've already sort of gone into as deep as I can and know.
The dark undertone, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Here we go then. This is Immersed in Ire, Ben Mason. Let's go.
Perfect.
That guitar is insane. "100% Phoenix." Agreed, mate. There's nothing that boy cannot do vocally. Any questions for the boys? Get them in the chat. I know they are. They'd be very interested to answering your questions. That was the goal. There's Ben Nathan. Awesome question, Deslate. Thank you, bud. Oh my lord. Come on, let's get some more numbers in. This album. Come on. Let your friends know, my friend. And if you're not following, let's try to get those 12 this straight. Oh, that bass at the end. Again, absolute monster, boys. We've got some pretty good questions in during that track. So Desolate asks, which is harder, the breakdown solo in Aya or the solo to Obsidian?
Oh,
that's a question.
To be fair, and to totally mug myself off, and Adam, the little like in Aya, once you've got it down, isn't it's hard, but it's there's not that much to remember. Once you've gone through it once, it's the same again.
Yeah.
But the bit in Obsidian, the harmonized arpeggios, that's hard. That is really, really hard. And the annoying thing is for me is there's does the arpeggio section, and then it goes one solo, which is mine, and then Adam's solo. So obviously my solo's straight after the arpeggio section. So Adam gets a nice little riffy break, and I've just got to go straight into the noodles. So I would say probably Obsidian is harder.
I was expecting the solo, but never during the breakdown I was like, maybe not.
It is tough. It is tough.
There's also another question. I suppose you both could have different answers. What song are you most proud of on the album?
Oh,
That's a tough one.
Alex?
I'm probably going to go with Lamb to the Slaughter because it's the first one we did.
Nice.
Okay.
Fitting as well with it being up next.
Yeah, and that was kind of the tester to see if the band was going to work. So
Yeah.
we did that, and it came out so good. We were like, "Oh, okay, we'll probably be fine."
Yeah, because being like I said, how this all came about, it was like almost like musical love letters between each of us, just being like, "Oh, riff, oh, drums, oh," and like we'd done all of the we basically laid out the song and said it's roughly going to go like this, intro, roll, like verse, chorus, whatever, and then it was still just like effectively like a bedroom demo. And then we had a Facebook message in the group from Jamie, who had obviously like snuck off to record his vocals with Tim from Hacktivist.
Right.
Is he still in? I don't know if he's still in Hacktivist. I'm really like out of touch with everything. And yeah, he just sent it through, and we were just like, yes, brilliant, cool. Everyone's all in, because there was that initial bit. It was just like, it's kind of like almost like first date territory where you're just like, what's gonna happen here? And yeah, then we were just like, this actually sounds pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to be like, oh, my band sounds great.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it does, to be fair.
Well, a lot of work went into it. I mean, the lineup we got now actually is the first lineup, but it wasn't actually the first members that were considered.
Yeah. Effectively, this isn't the original lineup, which is mad to say.
Somebody said Tim left Activision in 2018.
Good knowledge.
Yeah. So, what are you saying, Ross, for your favourite? Are you saying Lamb to the Slaughter as well?
Oh, God, yeah, I haven't even answered that. I would say, God, it's tough. I'd say Immersed in Ire probably because of the little guitar widdly bit. Affliction. No, Affliction.
Nice.
Affliction. Final answer, lock it in.
Awesome. So, Lamb to the Slaughter. Is there anything that on the musical side you want to touch base on?
It's the hardest one to talk about musically at the start, because that's when we were just sort of like, what sort of band do we want to sound like? And then all the ideas went into a pot, and that's what came out. So there wasn't much sort of pre-planning or pre-focus to it. We were both just like, I kind of like these bands, and I kind of like these bands. And then, it got put in the melting pot, and that's what came out. But there's like, it's the whole song means a lot to all of us. Like I can tell just from listening to what Alex described about it, it was like a big sort of momentous thing, and especially like it being the first time we all met.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the music, like the video was wild. I think Alex will agree. The video was nuts.
Yeah, very hot.
Yeah, because that, like, loads of people have sent us questions about how we did the video and how we did the pyro. Some people send us questions to the Instagram and the Facebook who want to do similar sort of videos, and they're saying like, how did you get your blah 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 fire permit for your video shoot? And we're just like, did we need one of those?
Well, it's not even that. I've had people say, what kind of 3D modeling or like CGI did you use?
Yeah.
But that's actually
My
real
name
legit
is
fire,
Terence
and it was probably about 10 to 15 feet from behind my drum kit.
Oh, it was mad, and it was so hot. But the the video shoot, we were struggling for ideas and struggling for locations and things like that, because again, everything was starting to gather pace. We were just like, God, we got to shoot a music video like yesterday. So we were scratching round, and I've got a good mate that owns like a bit of land, and I was just like, don't suppose you want to let me shoot a music video in your back garden? And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, really? And I was like, do you mind if we like burn loads of stuff? And without any sort of hesitation, I'm not kidding you, he climbed up this tree next to him, which was pretty dead, and just started hacking off branches. And he was just like, yeah, this is a great idea. And I was like, okay, cool. And then when we got there, he'd like built this wall of stuff to burn. at the back, and in between takes, he had a few big like containers of petrol. So like we'd finish a take and then he would just run down the line of fire and just pour petrol on it, and it was like jumping up by his face, and he was just running across, and it was just like, go, another take. And it looks like we're quite distant from the fire in the video, but we're so close to it. It was so bad. And then at the end of it, just to kill us all off, we should have done it at the start. I don't know why we didn't do this at the start. It only came across my mind as I've said this. We had photos done in front of the fire. So our main promotional shot, you can see it on our Spotify, on the cover at the top. We are stood literally in the fire. We were having to like, do you remember this, Al? We had to mark on the ground where we had to stand. And you would stand there and Gav, the photographer, would just go, now. And we'd run in, do your best metal pose, and then he'd be like, go, and then we'd run away from it, and it felt like your arms were melting. It was horrible.
Yeah,
that was a long day because we actually started shooting together. Probably, I think it was midnight. We actually started filming the video because we wanted it to be nighttime.
Yeah.
This was a long day, that one.
That was a good day.
That is mad. So one more question before we hit play. Someone's asked, will Archie get any vocal sections?
Oh, well, I've never heard him sing.
He's so good. Did you never hear the demo that he did for the last track on The Pardoner?
No.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, Archer's proper good. Proper good.
Fuck.
Not many
I've
people have heard it because of I don't know, he's really shy with his abilities. He's super talented at basically everything that he does. But he'll never talk about it, and he'll never display it. That's why he's a bass player. He should be like the sickest shredder ever if he had like even just, a tiny little bit of ego about him. He'd be like the world's greatest shredder. I know he would. But yeah, he definitely should do some backing vocals. Who asked that question?
It's a lad called Steve P, and he also said in Decimation and Services he was incredible. So proper Archer fan in the chat.
That's because of Archer is the Don Daddy.
True.
Absolutely. Here's Lamb to the Slaughter. Hopefully you boys won't get any flashbacks of intense heat.
I definitely will.
Here we go. How are we doing, everyone? 11 followers. Anyone
My name is Terence Hampshire.
Magic Horn, thank you so much for the follow, buddy. 10. Let your friends know. Can we do it? I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Love the composer of all the original. Agreed, buddy. Insane. Caden, I see you. How are you doing, my friend? That tonal scream he's got, he's absolutely mad. Magic On, thank you so much for the follow again, buddy. Welcome to the stream, how are we doing? Agreed, definitely. One of my favourite aspects of the album. Captain Merchant. I love and brought Merchant Viscera. Rocky, that is awesome, dude. Hello, Mexico. That is absurd how good that is. Phoenix in and out, insane. Some of the hardest hitting triplets. How good are his vocals? It's the GOAT. He's the absolute GOAT. We have a shout about Alex's drums. Mind blowing. Oh, boys, I think that's my favourite. The triplets are so good. I think Jamie's shown it, especially in that track, just like how he is definitely one of the best in the business. He's just, the range he's got on all aspects is just absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
for sure.
Also, Alex, your drumming in that track, absolutely mad. Absolutely mad.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. I think that's because it was the first one. It's probably the one I spent the most time on.
Yeah.
So I kind of got more ideas and stuff in, that I wanted to do, especially with the triplet vibe. Right at the very end, it's one of my favorite bits, doing the 16th note triplets on the kicks and then going into the 30 seconds. Just take it up a gear, like right at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Everyone in the chat is saying the same, just how like ridiculously good the drums are in that track.
Cool.
Desolate. We've also got someone saying greetings from Mexico. I love and have bought merch of Viscera, so that's pretty amazing.
Nice.
Shout out.
Cool. All the way out there.
Obviously, I don't know if you can say anything, but Desolate's asked, "How's the new album coming along?"
Ooh.
Can you say anything, or should we just move on swiftly?
Just quickly. No, not one person has mentioned the xylophone.
That is true. Nobody has mentioned the xylophone, which is...
Loads of people bring up the xylophone. Like, if you read the comments in the YouTube, it's just
My
like,
name is Terence
xylophone?
Hampshire.
What? And it's just like, yeah, man.
Why not?
Xylophone in death metal is cool.
It is. I like you said earlier, you mentioned it. It's a very kind of like brand of sacrifice. It just creates such a great like ambience, doesn't it? On top of extremely heavy music.
Yeah, no, exactly. New album wise, what can we say? We can't reveal like when it's going to come out, but we are. Depends what you want to class as done and not.
Well, I'd say we're probably over halfway there.
Yeah, we're over halfway, easily over halfway, and I think like with regards to material that's sat across 3 different computers, there's a whole album there, but it just needs going over and arranging, and then if Obsidian's anything to go by, it's going to get done, and then we're going to listen to it and just go back completely over it and over it and over it and over it again, and then chop and change. But yeah, no, it's sounding. I mean, people are going to be like, "What does it sound like?" And it's really difficult because obviously it's the second album, so you're always gonna, whatever you do, you're always going to have a camp of people that are just like, "No, they've lost it." And others that are just like, I like this new direction. I mean, it's not really a new direction, but that's when it starts to get divisive. Yeah. So people are going to be in like different camps of what they think about it. But we just kind of, it sounds really, really hippie to say, but we just got to kind of ignore everything and just stay, I'm going to say it, before I say it, true to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We probably could divulge the album name.
No, don't you dare.
It's going to be called The Difficult Second Album.
The Difficult Second Album, yeah.
See Ross's face drop.
I was just like, don't do it.
Please. Let's
You will
move
be
on
dead.
to Carpe Noctem.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we saying, boys?
It is the song that came together the quickest by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a short song. It's straight into the point. There's not much difficulty to it. I mean, the picking pattern in the it's kind of like I imagine, X percentage of our fan base are guitarists, so they'll be wondering about how hard it is to play. It's probably you can do it two ways. So anyone that cares, you can sort of play it alternate picked, the verse riff, but the true way to play this is just down picking, which is that's what makes it hard and proper gritty. But musically, the song's we wanted one that's a little bit more stripped back, and this is definitely it.
Awesome. We'll just go ahead and play it. This is Carpe Noctem.
Bang it on.
Thank you everyone for being here. TDS Dave, thank you so much for the follow, bud. How are we doing? Welcome. 9 follows, my friend. Those operatics over the top, absolutely amazing. That is my In it, Phoenix. Beauty of a deep dive for Desolate. We're going to everything. Now you know. Oh my. Keep the questions coming as well, guys. Love the guitar. My Jiffy band. It's a good Jiffy band to have. The gift factor, they do have it. Excellent question, Cadence. What a track. Insane. Absolutely amazing, boys. The operatics over the top of like Jamie and everything is just so good.
That's all Jamie. That's all Jamie. All those vocal tracks are Jamie.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He's just an absolute ninja, isn't it?
Beast. Yeah.
Absolute beast. There's a really good question coming saying, what's your favourite part about the recording process? Whatever you're doing works so well, everything is balanced so well. Yeah, the chat has just imploded. That's all Jamie. A lot of what?
Yeah, no, that's him. That's just him. What was the question?
What's your favourite part of the recording process? Because obviously whatever you're doing works so well, and basically pointing how good the production and how everything is balanced so well. So what are both of your like personal favourite things about the recording process?
My personal favourite bit about the recording process is spending so much time with David Archer because he's a good dude. Because obviously we track everything ourselves, and we do it with Archer. And Archer is a horrendous person to track with when you're like, because me and Archer, we've been best of friends for quite a while now, and I've seen him work with other people, and he's to anyone else, Archer's super polite, but when he knows you really well, he's so cutting. If you do anything badly, he makes you feel just like a small child that can't play guitar. And he's just like, again, and he'll just go, again, give it here. That's how you do it. Do it again. And it's just like, dude, like, we're supposed to be friends. So yeah, no, I mean, laying it down is good fun. The writing process is good because when you've got something, like the breakdown in Aya, when that comes together and you're sat there and someone just goes reverse snare, and we go give it a try, and then you go and it works perfectly. You're just like, yes, that's gonna kill it live. So yeah, it's that sort of good feeling. I mean, the recording process is quite weird with us. Again, like how we run the band is, I've said this in like another interview, we're like almost like the just-in-time band, if any sort of business studies fans out there. So all the product arrives just at the right time. So the guitars are tracked just at the right time to arrive just at the right time with the drums and the bass being done and the vocals being done, and it's just sort of like assembles like, what's that thing in Power Rangers where everything comes together and it's just like one beast.
Oh yeah, Megazord.
Yeah, that's it.
A Viscera Megazord. Love it.
Exactly. I think that's what the next. I won't say.
That's the album 2 name, everyone.
Yeah, Megazord. Yeah. So I mean, everything we do is like, if you want to be brutal about it, everything we do is last minute. So, I mean, we could regale you with how almost slapdash the first tour was. We rehearsed. Should I reveal this? Go on then. I will.
Yeah, you might as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, the first time we rehearsed as a full band was less than 24 hours before we played our first show.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're a very modern band, like at the moment, because we do everything. Everybody just learns their bits at home, and then we're playing to a click track live. So we just, as long as everybody knows their parts, if we turn up, it should just be absolutely fine. And the first gig we did was actually no drummer.
Wow.
What was that? First gig we did?
Yeah. The first show our first gig on the first tour. We just turned up and then played it, and it was fine.
I thought you said no drummer. I was just
no drama.
I'm fairly sure you were there, dude.
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, no, but we rehearsed as a 3-piece.
Yes.
The night before we went out. Yeah, because this could turn into a long tangent about tour disaster. Me and Alex decided that we were going to fly out to Berlin because the Decapitated tour we did, we were on the bus, and we both decided, because I've flown out to somewhere before and my guitar cases arrived just crushed basically, and I was just like, I really don't fancy turning up to start a tour with 3 different pieces of guitar. And Alex, you had quite a lot of drum stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we were just like, let's just drive. I mean, Berlin's not that far. So we drove over a couple of days before, split the journey up, and got to Berlin. So we'd practiced like the night before last, and then we got to Berlin and we booked a rehearsal studio for Berlin. And the prices, this is a rant about Berlin rehearsal room prices, absolute extortion.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that place wasn't even that good, was it, Al? It was all right.
It was average.
Yeah, but it was so expensive. So we literally could afford like 2 hours. So we just had like a couple of run throughs of the set, and there was a problem with like Jamie's in-ear mix and stuff like that. So we wasted loads of time like going over that. So the sort of like the first full time we played as a band on the set, we were basically on stage on, you know, a good sized tour.
Yeah, that is mad, and something I think anyone that's played a live kind of gig can. There's every time we've got to like practice for something goes wrong.
Yeah,
so
always.
Let's move on to track 5 and your favourite track, Ross, Affliction.
There we go. Yes, this is a killer. And anyone that sort of like asks about this guitar wise, it is as hard as it sounds. It's disastrous to play. It's horrible.
Awesome. Musically, anything about drums on here, Alex?
I mean, the drums on this one are fairly straight ahead because I'm just looking in. You know, it's the slowest track on the album.
It's your favourite BPM, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's a real mid-range tempo, so it's just like a stamina fest, really. But I mean, the drums on this are pretty straight ahead because I've just got to look in with the guitars, you know, throughout. So nothing too crazy on the drums on this one.
Awesome. Let's get to it then. This is Affliction. Bruce Big Am, how we doing, boy? Good to see you. He was making it sound like these drums are like playing Nickelback. Listen to them. Favourite chorus on the album? Great question, right? Emmett Joe. Jade is right. Anybody in the chat that hasn't hit follow, if you would be so kind to, please hit that little love heart. It helps more than you would know. And also 9. Get all your friends. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my god, that is... No, I am the worst, everyone. Sorry for the constant plug, but once it's done, I'll shut up. We keep the bear pits for the episodes, my friend. But yeah, bruh. It's a bad hating spirit. I can honestly see why. Absolutely. That is just, it's a mammoth, isn't it?
Yeah, that beatdown riff is my favourite moment in the whole album, beyond any solos or anything like that.
Everyone's laughing a lot at how Alex was like, oh, it's just straightforward drums. Yeah, those double bass. I was expecting like Nickelback Rockstar drums when you said that. Absolute monster. Incredible. We had a really good question actually coming for you. Has COVID have a big effect on production of the new album? Has it made things easier or harder? Which I think is a pretty good question for a band nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed things slightly. I think the main writing brain for the album, or the main epicenter of the album, was sort of me and Adam at his computer down in Brighton. So obviously we haven't been able to have these meetups that we'd always do, because normally me and Adam hang out like once or twice a week and we just go, you know, what have you got? So those have ended. So we've been kind of doing it on Zoom and Skype, and it's not as good. It's kind of tricky because of, you know, you sort of having to like say you're listening to him through his computer monitors and then my computer monitors, and then if you've got anything you want to change, how we've been doing it, and it's so laborious, is tabbing it out on Guitar Pro and then just sending it over and just being like, try and punch that in and see if that works. And, you know, it's time taken tabbing it out, sending it over, punching it in. Whereas when we're just there, we just sort of say, like, you know, we pass the guitar between us. But I mean, beyond that, not really. It's not really affected our writing much at all, because of kind of similar to the way Obsidian was done. It's all done compartmentalized into everyone's different factions. So in a sense, no. In a sense, yes. I prefer writing with someone there, because if I'm too self-critical, so as I'm writing, I'm deleting at the same time pretty much. Whereas I could play something in front of Adam, or he could play something in front of me, and she'd be like, do that again? That was gold. Do that again. Yeah, but besides that, no, it's not really affected us that much. With regards to motivation, though, it's been a bit strange, because of when you've been given so much free time, because, you know, you can't go out and do anything, you think, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to have 10 albums written by the time this is over. And then you sit down at your computer with all the time in the world and no distractions, and, you know, not the excuse of just like, I could go out and see my mates and do whatever. Just motivation and creative input just sort of leaves you. And you're just like, no, not now, not writer's block now. Anytime but now. But we're ploughing through it. So, you know, you can expect the new album soonish.
Soonish will definitely do. So track 6, this is another one, definitely one of my favourites off the album, Hammers and Nails.
Yeah, a bit of a weird, like musically, I mean, riff-wise, it's
Yes,
real
please.
mixed bag, because it's got some of the easiest riffs on the album and some of the hardest. Like the intro, like the first riff that you'll hear, is just a real simple one-note pattern, and it's not even fast. And we were umming and ahhing about it for ages. Like when I first heard Adam do it, I was just a bit like, dude, that's like not us in the slightest. But in the context of the song, it really works.
Yeah.
This track actually came together quite quick. It was probably the 4th track written. And Adam flew with this one. I think we maybe bashed together a couple of riffs for it, and then I, you know, drove back home, and over the next day or so, he was just like, you know, sent me a Dropbox link, and I was like, yeah, man, sweet.
Awesome. We've had quite a few questions actually admiring how good the artwork is and asking who did the artwork for you.
Shindy, called Shindy. He's done like, Psychroptic. He's done the new Bound in Fear. Nate put me on the spot. I can't remember who else he's done. He's done some killer artwork recently. The new Bound in Fear one, like some of my favourite art that he's done. Obviously ours. Have to say that.
Yeah, it is insane.
But the new Bound in Fear EP, again, forgotten the name of it, but that is incredible. It's got like a guy's head exploding with like loads of effectively like caricatures of the world's problems coming out of his head.
I know the one you mean. I have seen that. Yeah, it's incredible.
So good, so good. I mean, I think he's got an art page. Just if you Facebook search Shindy Real, Rehal, I think it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's got some crazy designs. And like when I've got the spare bit of cash, I'm going to buy one of his designs for a frame for my wall because I think he's second to none.
That artwork is incredible. Oh, we've had a late question come in for Carpe Noctem. He says a bit late. I know they've gone past it, but I read that Scott from Blade from Within was on Carpe Noctem too.
Yeah, true.
Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. He is on the album.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So let's go and play Hammers and Nails. There you go, Phoenix. The king himself is on the album. Eastern97, thank you so much for the follow, my dude. 8 more. Let your friends know. Excellent choice, Eric. What a mine as well, for sure. Robert, thank you so much for the 9 months baby cake. Rolfie, hello buddy, how are we doing? Oh Robert. Calming me will get you nowhere. That riff though, come on.
Know what you are.
That lyric is huge. We got any questions, folks? I mean, yeah, they've got pickings and things. Ooh. Yeah, I know, Eric. The next thing we'll say is that it was Jamie that did the siren. Great question. Amazing, boys. Absolutely amazing. A great question from Desolate. It said he's not blowing smoke, but Obsidian was his favourite album of the last year. What was yours? What were your two album of last year?
Ooh.
That'll be a good one. You don't need to obviously say metal. You can say anything.
Alex, you go first. Give me time to think, please.
Oh, Christ. Put me on the spot.
You're going to say some black metal album I've never heard of.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Code Orange Underneath
Shout.
was a good one for me. I'm trying to think of... Because 2020 seems like a lifetime ago at the moment.
It does.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that was... I really did enjoy that. I got into Code Orange quite late. And when I discovered them, I was like, oh, that's pretty nice.
There were, as well, with, I think, what happened last year, with everyone having to stay in, there were a lot more albums, I think, than normal. And I think trying to think off the top of your head is... I mean, I'd probably say either Cannibal by Bury Tomorrow or Orbit Culture. If you guys had never heard Orbit Culture, you would love them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be an incredible tour, wouldn't it? Orbit Culture, Viscera. Whoa! That's gonna get some chins wagging.
Yeah.
So up next, Lilith, which obviously is
Album of the year. I've got my album of the year.
Ooh, go on.
Oh, here we go.
And it's got to be Immortal. Lorna Shore.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with that album, part of the reason that I thought, because I sat there thinking, I can't even think of one album that was released. I can't think of any albums. Just on my WhatsApp, Adam's watching, by the way, Al. And he's just being like, Immortal Lorna Shore, and I was just like, yeah, he's right.
Well, I mean, we did tour with them.
Yeah, we'd kind of wrapped everything up with Obsidian, and we were getting towards the final stages and just putting the bells and whistles on it. And Lorna Shore popped up, and I think I was at Adam's when we first sort of listening to it, and then you hear title track came out just as we were proud as punch that we had done this album, because there were times where we were just like, we're never going to get this done. And we were like, yeah, good. I'm really happy with this. And then we just Lorna Shore new song, bang. And we were just like, that's incredible. And that sounds amazing. So we were pretty deflated after we'd heard that.
You shouldn't be. This album, I'd choose this album personally. But I do realise it was very popular. And obviously kind of controversial with what happened with the frontman. But it is a good album.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they really impressed me on tour. Actually, I mean, I'd never really listened to them, or I'd seen the name about, but I hadn't really checked them out until we went on tour with them, and they're actually really good.
Yeah, musically they're crazy, aren't they? What they managed to pull off. So should we do Lilith into Obsidian, or do you want to? Should we? Because Lilith's obviously quite a short one, or do you want to say a little thing about Lilith? Lilith
is the creation of Adam's weird brain, because if Adam's sense of arpeggios is bonkers. It's not stuff that I would, before we actually started making music together, I had more of a straightforward approach to arpeggios, whereas he has quite good knowledge around colouring in arpeggios with different notes, a bit more modal. And his picking hand is intense on lead stuff. So yeah, when he was piecing that together, I hated him but loved it at the same time. And we kind of needed something, everyone has one of these pieced together tracks or like an interlude or something like that, and we wanted to make ours, kind of, swell into something, and it actually like slid together with Obsidian real easy. But I think we had a review on this once, and some guy was just like, it makes no sense having this track here. And it's just like, it makes perfect sense. And he was just like, it just seems to go nowhere. Like, it does nothing. And I was just like, did you just stop listening at track 7?
Yeah, you do think with some of the reviews, like written reviews, that, did they actually listen the full thing?
Yeah, I know. Maybe he had it on shuffle, though, to be fair. But he was just like,
I mean, if you're reviewing an album and you have it on shuffle, you need help. In my
he was
opinion.
just like, it just seems to stop suddenly. And I was just like, you're an idiot.
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't know what Spotify will do. Sometimes, like with my Spotify, sometimes it slides in nice, and then other times it leaves like a little second gap, which really annoys me.
Yeah, I can see why. So shall we obviously say something about the title track as well? We'll play them together. How they are intended?
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, they should be pieced together.
They should, yeah. And it's actually what we opened with live, isn't it?
Yeah, we had
last tour cycle, we were starting with Lilith and going straight into Obsidian for the first song, which, much to my my disenjoyment, because it's easily the hardest song for me to play.
This is something I do to Alex every single time, because of like we used to be in Abhorrent Decimation together, and during soundcheck you're normally doing one song, and this is my absolute favourite tradition. I always know what song Alex finds the hardest, because he'll always complain about it.
Yep.
And got
to keep my mouth shut.
Normally the vocalist will just be like, because they've got the mic and they can talk to the desk, but they'll just sort of say, or what song should we do? And I'm just like, Obsidian. And I'll turn to Alex and just be like...
If Alex is saying it's difficult as well, it must be difficult.
He still finds it easy, though. You turn around and he hasn't broken a sweat, and I'm there, like, crying sweaty tears. And he's fine.
It's not... It's like, on tour, it was a bit of a shock at the start. Like, and then you were getting into it, because playing a song, like, in the practice room, and then playing it live is, like, a totally different thing. Because you're using more energy and stuff. And when I'm more conserved, like, at home, like, playing. And then as soon as you play live, you're running out of, like, steam, like, a bit earlier. And, yeah, Obsidian's definitely the hardest for me, and to start with it is like pure madness, but they made me do it.
We had great fun with this live in Hanover. Was it Hanover, Al?
Where the rig malfunctioned?
Yeah, so obviously we have all our in-ears and everything like that. Then we've got the annoying click throughout. Beep, 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 beep. So we were listening to the like Lilith was coming on, everything was
yeah.
And then towards the end of Lilith, we get the, how it swells to drop into the Obsidian riff, and we get the 8 count. So 8 beeps, and then bang, Obsidian starts in our ears, and it just went nothing.
Oh no!
Yeah, the click track decided not to play. So from memory, we all I kept the tempo relatively the same, and then we actually came out in time. So it sort of worked.
Fair play.
Jamie turned, because I was I don't know why, I was having a real weird time at that gig in general. I think I was quite pumped or full of energy, nerves, whatever. And Jamie ripped his in-ear out and almost pulled mine out. And he's like, I take it you had no click track. And I was just like, didn't we? I could completely just been like, this is fine. It sounds great.
Amazing.
And then we managed to scramble to get it back together on stage.
I mean, fair. I think that for me, I used to play drums and playing for a long time, but that makes me nervous just hearing that story. Just shows how well you did to recover and obviously play the song.
Yeah, I mean, playing without a click is totally fine, but I've only ever played our material to a click. Yeah. Because we always designed it that we're going to play live with a click.
Yeah.
So for it suddenly to cut out, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I don't know where I am.
So just
it turned out alright.
yeah, sorry, mate. So just quickly before we go and play the tracks, was the album always going to be Obsidian? Was that always going to be the name, or was it kind of at the end process when you had it all together and you thought, yeah, we'll have it as Obsidian and this will be the title track?
That was like the icing on it all. The whole vocal side of it was kind of the last thing on, because we kind of present Jamie with, because he's a busy man. He is a busy man.
Yeah.
And if we're going sort of like with a half-finished verse, which right, Jamie, what do you think of this? He'll just be like, I think that's not finished, and come back to me when it's done. he'll add stuff in. Like, I wish I'd saved all of the voice notes that we get from him, because of Jamie's musical input. He's a human death metal beatbox perfectionist. So he'll be like, oh yeah, this, we should do something like da 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 da, and it's just like me and Adam will listen to it and just be like, the fuck's he talking about?
We do need to release an album of Jamie's little voice clips on Facebook Messenger.
I'd buy it. Can we have it on vinyl?
They're incredible.
7-inch vinyl, super collectible.
Nice little splatter vinyl of Jamie's death metal beatbox.
Yeah.
I'm
we're
down.
thinking, I really want to eventually, put it as like, because remember back in the day, and I'm probably showing my age here, but like bands used to have you like listen to the last track and just be like, this last track's 8 minutes long. And then it gets like 4 minutes and the song finishes and you're just like, what's going on with the rest of this? And then like there'd be a little bit of silence and then there'd be a bonus track you didn't know about.
Yeah.
And I want that to just be Jamie's beatbox madness. I think that would be...
Oh, I'm down.
So
I'm
good.
down. Yeah, someone said, I'll take your entire stock. Amazing. So here we go. This is Lilith and Obsidian back to back, the way they're meant to be. Jamie Graham voice board needed. Agreed. Here we go. Light, I see you. How are we doing, my friend? Thank you for being here. How are you doing? How has your day been? Imagine thinking this track, when you're writing a review, goes nowhere. It's quite obviously going somewhere. Absolutely, Christopher. If you had this album, luckily you weren't looking to get this album early to write a review. How would you think this is going nowhere? It's quite obviously leading to what's about to come. Circle pit in the chat. Let's go, everyone. Woo-hoo-hoo! Bang. Look at those guitars as well. Woo. Go on, Jamie. Jamie Graham. That's a nice little throwback to like his Heart of a Coward kind of choruses. Same, mate. One of my all-time favourites. Look at that. Live sweeping by Ross. Ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. It's laughable how good it is. Sam, how we doing, buddy? Yes, Ryan. Absolute chonky. I mean, I think it's fair to give him the GOAT status. That part always gets me. That almost synthwave over the top of that. Nah. Masterpiece. Just gonna say, absolute masterpiece. I loved also you doing the live sweeps. Amazing.
Live sweeps. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, that, like me and the chat were all saying how the reviewer said that he could listen to Lilith and not think that's not going anywhere. That is literally what the purpose of that track is to do. It's going somewhere to introduce Obsidian.
But you must be listening to that and get to the end and just be like, "Oh, where's this going?"
I mean, it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, listening to that has made me fall in love with that track again. Not that I'd fallen out of love with it, but because we've been I was talking to Alex before this, and I was just like, it's actually going to be quite nice to sit down and listen to it again, because of all what I've been listening to recently is just demos of riffs and everything like that. So it's actually good to hear the album as a whole piece again, which is nice, because there's bits in that which I'd not forgotten that we do, but I get kind of lost in what I'm doing live and everything like that, because we wrote, if you listen again to the solo of Obsidian, there's bits in there where, like, the tail ending of my solo is a harmony line that starts Adam's solo, which, is all little tiny bits that got added in towards the end when we were just looking for the, the extra cream to put on top, so to speak. It was all those little tiny bits where we went over it, because we could have released Obsidian earlier, and, if we'd have been able to predict a global pandemic, we would have actually done better to release it earlier, but we wouldn't have got the same product.
Of course, yeah. I'm not just saying it because you're both here, but genuinely, I do think that is a metal masterpiece. It is phenomenal, and like I say, it's really cool. you obviously put all work into it. So like listening back to it now is probably really cool to hear some of those little things that you kind of forgot about. But like you said, not forgot about. So let's go into the last track.
Just before we move on to that last track, there's a little bit in the end of Obsidian, which is the final like sort of breakdown, beatdown riff, whatever you want to call it, and the synth part at the end.
Yeah, I was saying it's almost like synthwave. It's absolutely amazing.
That wasn't written by anyone in Viscera.
I honestly thought you were about to say that's Jamie. I won't be surprised.
We just modulated his voice into a synth. No, it is if you look in the album sleeve, the credit for the synth on that is a guy called Mike Lee. I don't know if he pronounces it Valeri or Valerie. He's the guy that mixed and mastered the album, and that is the guitarist of Brand of Sacrifice. And he wrote that part.
Oh, is it Leo? Is it
Leo?
Yeah.
Absolute top geezer.
When Lifeblood came out, we deep dived Lifeblood with Kyle, and basically just going into absolutely what a genius Leo is.
Yeah, no, he's beyond genius.
Yeah, so like speaking of Kyle and Brand of Sacrifice, the last track has obviously got some huge features on it with Ricky Lee Roper as well. So
yes, please
tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, this track came together quite. This was a struggle. This track, I think, if we're honest, when you say, "Oh,"
yeah, I mean, the last, track on an album, you got to finish with a bang, really.
Yeah,
so you kind of got to make the last. I've always had that old school approach of the last song on every album has to be like, a statement, like usually a bit longer than the rest, and it's got to have something different.
Yeah, I think as well with like patterns and structure, there was arguments galore over this. I don't want to say I'm like with, one of those bands that argue all the time, but it's like constructive arguments, just be like, no, this should happen here, this should happen here, the vocal should do this, guitar should do this. It was really, really tough to like hammer this one out. But I think that's because of the main riff in it, like the sort of like attraction piece of the riff is the real sort of techie riff. And that was such gold that we didn't want anything to be sort of hemmed in for this. Nothing sort of half-assed. Because this definitely was the last track. Thinking about it, this was the last track that was written, like finalized. And yeah, we just didn't want to go this far and to kind of give up on the end. Yeah, I think the conversation even strayed to just be like, is 8 tracks enough? Like, because if this is really killing us and it's killing our vibe. But yeah, like, luckily we stuck with it. And, obviously that weird sort of idea that Jamie had with the chant again, I think that sort of tied it together quite nicely. And then having those two absolute beasts towards the end just makes the thing sound really harrowing, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think nobody sounds like Kyle, in my opinion. He literally sounds like a monster.
Yeah, but you speak to him in real life, and he's got like the calmest and sweetest voice ever.
He is so laid back.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll play the last track, and then we'll come back just to close it. This is Silentium.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I echo what you've all said. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support, as always. Sat in your boss hoodie. Nice. Syncopated triplet. Sonny, hello love. How are we doing?
I just believe somebody's been suffering years ago. We should take an OD and die. We may not want to take the OD, but to get out of the misery, right? We'll be fighting every night. Like a worm on my belly, I will crawl. Fighting your family in the shadows.
Terence Hampshire.
David, thank you very much for the follow, sir. There's little samples over the top of the list. Ricky Lee. I love seeing that chat blow up. Does everyone love a good outro solo? This album is just proof, everyone. Quality, not quantity. Also, Iris, I've just noticed it was your. I just wondered, it was your partner that followed me, wasn't it? I watched one of his streams. Magical. It is, isn't it? Or is it like that? Flawless album for sure, my sir. Yeah. You know, I think you boys now feel metal masterpiece. Absolutely incredible.
Thanks, man.
I can honestly say I haven't seen that little ending with the features and all that. I've not seen the chat go like that the whole stream. Like, everyone is genuinely mind blown. So boys, again, thank you so much for your time on Friday. Thank you for sitting through your amazing album and just telling us all your stories and anything you want to say about it. I hope obviously when eventually album 2 Viscera Megazord comes out, if you have the time to come and jump on again and chat about it, I would absolutely love that, and I'm sure everyone else would as well.
If we call it Megazord, by the way, you're getting nothing.
That's fine.
It's going to have to be called that now.
You might get just a tiny little bit across the bottom of the legend notes.
Honestly, that is fine as long as we can have the album.
I bet you Shindy sat at home just with a pencil, just going, right, Megazord. Okay, what's it gonna look like?
You all as Power Rangers on the top of Megazord, 100% happen.
That'd be amazing.
Down for that. Next music video, pink leotard for me and a motorbike helmet, which they've clearly just...
So much respect that you went straight for the Pink Ranger, Ross. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. 2021, Derek. Like, pink's for everyone.
Absolutely. And someone's also said needs more xylophone in the next album.
There's going to be xylophone. Actually, there's no xylophone. In the demo track so far, there's no xylophone, unless I can't...
There's time.
There's still time. There's always time for xylophone.
Boys, thank you so much. You have a great weekend. And again, thank you so much for jumping on.
Yeah, nice.
too, man.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You take care, boys. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
that, bro.
Absolute heroes and incredible, absolutely incredible band. Heroes. Absolute heroes. Right, guys, that is pretty much it. That's not that long. What was it? 1 hour and 40. Does anybody want to... Shall we listen to something? Has there been any... Shall we go through quickly any of the new releases out today? Shall we do that? Just 5 more minutes just for... Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate that, how much you enjoyed it. It was amazing. Boom. I don't really know what I've listened to be honest. Just because we were so close to Shadow, we can have a listen to Shadow. Just five more minutes. See if anybody wants to follow.